Hello aviation fans and welcome back to Skyships. Today we will fly to Malaysia, to a beautiful city of Langkawi. The tropical island, warm water of the Strait of Malacca, so awesome. But for us, the Lima 2017 air show, which was held there last year, is more interesting. During the air show, along with other aerobatic teams, the Russian knights were showing their flying skills. So what, you may ask? Another air show, another chance for pilots to mock the laws of gravity. However, this time there was something new. The Russian knights showed their brand new Su-30SM jets for the first time. Given this news, as well as the fact that the Russian Aerospace Defense Forces are using these fighters in the Syrian war, I decided to tell a story about this curious and deadly plane. Okay, let's start. Sukhoi Su-30SM is a Russian multirole super maneuverable fighter aircraft developed by the Sukhoi Design Bureau a few years ago. In fact, this plane is a modification of the Su-30MKI export fighter, but designed especially for the Russian military. The history of this aircraft begins with the appearance of the first version of this fighter's type, the basic Su-30. By the beginning of the 1980s, the military aviation all around the world started to seriously change. Those changes were caused not only by the development of the new technologies, weapons and battle tactics, but also by the industrial and economic problems. Planes were becoming more and more complicated and expensive. Even the US and USSR could not longer keep huge parks with thousands of different types military jets, as it was in the old but not very good times of the beginning of the Cold War. The trend to unification began, when on the basis of the one machine designers are creating different versions, using the same elements to make the projects cheaper. And with it they started to create jets which can perform different tasks. The first examples of this trend in the fourth generation were the American F-15E Strike Eagle aircraft and its direct competitor, the Soviet Su-30. The USSR Air Force needed an aircraft capable not only for air combat, but also to command an air group, to carry out the reconnaissance missions, and also to attack the targets on the surface, ground or sea. Su-27 was good at the first task, but the rest of the missions were outside its profile. In addition, the remaining roles required too much work for a single pilot. Nevertheless, the Su-27, having a big potential and wide opportunities, became a basis for the new program. The work began at the Sukhoi Design Bureau in the mid-1980s. They've used as a basis the two-seat Su-27 training version. By the end of the decade, prototypes of the new jet began to fly, and the Su-30 was introduced in the Air Force in 1992. Oh, those 90s. While the Hollywood made its crazy 90s action movies, the Russia made many things, but military development was not among them. The Ministry of Defense bought Su-30s, but those purchases were ridiculously low. The Sukhoi company knew what a monster they've created. Understanding the lack of Russian military demand, they've decided to enter the global market. The new Su-30K commercial version was developed. It was successful, so successful that its creators could not imagine. The fighter won several major military tenders and became actively supplied to the foreign countries' air forces. The largest customer was the Indian Air Force. For the first time, they received the Su-30K, just slightly modified version of the basic Su-30. By the beginning of the 21st century, a much improved version Su-30MKI was developed specially for India. In the future, the Su-30MKI became the basis for many modifications developed for different countries: China, Indonesia, Malaysia, Venezuela, and so on. Totally, at the beginning of 2018, more than 600 fighters based on the Su-30 are in service in 13 countries. Su-30MKI and its modifications have become so effective that it was decided to supply them to the Russian Air Force. However, Russian military requirements are rather strict, especially regarding the foreign equipment in the aircraft systems. That's why Sukhoi developed the domestic Su-30SM, the most advanced jet in the family. Let's look at this plane closer. Su-30SM, known in NATO as a Flanker C, is a twin-engine, two-seat fighter aircraft. Looking at the airframe design, it is a copy of the Su-30MKI. It is super maneuverable and equipped with a canard control surfaces. The aircraft's power plant incorporates two AL-31FP afterburning turbofan engines. Those engines can reach 123 kN of thrust using afterburners and accelerate the plane to its maximum speed of Mach 2. The engines are equipped with 3D thrust vectoring nozzles, which improves the maneuverability of a heavy fighter. Its maximum takeoff weight almost reached 35 tons. The fighter is equipped with a fly-by-wire and low-altitude flight control systems. A long-range phased-array radar is adapted for the surface bombardments and also allows to attack 4 aerial targets at the same time. The crew sits in tandem, with the systems operator sitting behind the pilot. The aircraft is capable of performing a 4.5-hour combat mission with a range of 3,000 kilometers. To increase the range, the Su-30SM has an aerial refueling system. In order to explain its opinion to the opponents, the aircraft is equipped with a full-scale fighter aircraft armament, including guided and unguided missiles, as well as aerial bombs. All this weaponry weighs up to 8 tons and is suspended on 12 pylons. And of course, the aircraft is equipped with a 30mm aviation gun. By the beginning of 2018, the Russian Aerospace Defense Force operates nearly 100 jets of this modification. Few of them were transferred to the Russian Knights aerobatic team, which means we will see more impressive flights in the sky of the air shows. And this is where today's story ends. Next week we will return to the great world of the commercial aviation. Thanks for watching, like, comment and subscribe. Fast flights and soft landings to you.